In the heart of the rugged mountains, there stood a solitary cabin, weathered by time and surrounded by ancient trees. Inside this cabin lived a lonely man named Samuel. He had come to these remote woods seeking solace, a respite from the cacophony of city life and the weight of his own solitude. Samuel had rented the cabin for a week, hoping the isolation would provide him with the clarity he so desperately sought. The cabin was cozy, with a fireplace crackling and a view that stretched as far as the eye could see. For the first few days, he reveled in the serenity, spending his time reading, writing, and simply gazing at the majestic peaks that loomed in the distance. But as the days wore on, a growing unease began to creep over him. It started as a feeling of being watched, a sensation that someone or something was lurking just beyond the tree line. Samuel dismissed it as the overactive imagination of a man isolated for too long. One moonless night, as Samuel sat by the fireplace, he heard an eerie sound echoing through the forest. It was a guttural, otherworldly growl that sent shivers down his spine. He rushed to the window, peering into the darkness, but saw nothing. Fear gripped him, and he locked all the doors and windows, clutching a fireplace poker as his only weapon. Hours passed, and the growls continued, growing louder and more menacing with each passing minute. Samuel knew he had to make a choice: stay barricaded inside the cabin or venture into the woods to confront whatever lurked out there. Summoning his courage, he grabbed a flashlight and a hunting knife, and he cautiously stepped outside. The night was oppressive, and the forest seemed to close in on him as if it were alive. Samuel's heart raced as he moved deeper into the trees, guided only by the flickering beam of his flashlight. Suddenly, from the shadows emerged a grotesque and nightmarish creature. It had eyes that glowed with an unnatural malevolence and sharp, gnarled claws. Samuel's flashlight revealed a monstrous, hulking form covered in matted fur. It was unlike anything he had ever seen or imagined. The creature lunged at him with a horrifying screech, and Samuel fought for his life. His hunting knife clashed against the creature's claws, and they wrestled in the darkness. Adrenaline surged through him as he realized he had only till dawn to make it out alive, for he had heard legends of this beast that only hunted in the blackest hours of the night. With every ounce of strength, Samuel managed to break free from the creature's grip and sprinted back toward the cabin. The growls and pursuit continued, but he reached the cabin just as the first faint light of dawn began to illuminate the sky. The creature, as if repelled by the approaching daylight, let out a final, anguished cry before disappearing into the shadows. Samuel collapsed inside, battered and bruised but alive. As the sun's rays bathed the cabin in a warm embrace, he knew he had survived the nightmarish ordeal. The lonely man, who had sought solitude in the mountains, had found something far more terrifying. But he also found the strength within himself to survive, and the mountains would forever hold his story of a harrowing night when he faced the unknown and lived to tell the tale.